I may obtain children by her.
Right.
And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarah.
Right. So what did Sarah ask Abraham to do? Do what? Right. Take a maid, have a child, lay with a maid. In fact, marry her maid. Right. Because for him to lay with her, it's a covenant. All right. Anytime a man lay with a woman, it's a covenant. Everybody understand that? A covenant is a covenant of marriage. Now, unless it's a deed of fornication. When there is no covenant, when there's a lack of a covenant, that means that's fornication. There's one or two things that happen. So a man lay with a woman is a covenant of marriage, or it is an act of fornication. All right. No in between. Everybody understand that? So she basically was telling Abraham, listen, make a covenant with my maid, lay with her, make her your wife, and then she'll bring forth a child in our household, because the maid was part of her house. That maid belonged to Sarah. Everybody understand that? All right, let's read.
And Sarah, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram, and dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife.
To be what?
To be his wife.
To be his wife. So what? Once he lay with her, she would be his wife. Okay? So that's what that's what Sarai told him to do. Take her to wife so he can bring forth seed. Read on.
And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes.
Right. So once she conceived, what happened to her now? Who got jealous? No. Hagar. What did Hagar do now? She what? She thinks she's better than Sarah now. She thought that now, I conceived, right? So she started looking at Sarah the wrong way, because up until that point, she was servant to Sarah, right? So now she conceived, she started, her eyes changed towards Sarah now. Oh, okay, I'm the wife that bringing forth child now, right? Huh? What's that? Right, how you want to put it, right? Right. I'm that woman now, right? Let's see what happens. Read.
And Sarai said unto Abram, my wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom.
Right.
And when she saw that she had conceived,
right,
I was despised in her eyes.
See, she told us what happened. When she saw that she conceived, I was despised in her eyes. But now she's looking at me like, well, what are you doing here? Right? Because I got the baby now. Right? Read on.
The power judge thee between me and thee. But Abram said unto Sarai, behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleaseth thee.
Right. He said, I'm not going to defend her. Right? She was your maid. Do with her as you pleases you. If she's acting crazy, handle it. Basically saying, if you need to straighten her out, go ahead and straighten her out. Right? Read.
And when Sarai dealt hardly with her.
So Sarai went and dealt with her hardly. Right? So I'm not sure what she did to her, but we can kind of guess, that we are all Hebrews here, right? So we can kind of determine what went down. That she dealt with her hardly, right? She didn't know have she didn't put her on timeout. In other words, right? Right? It wasn't timeout that came her way, right? She dealt with her a certain way, right? Read on.
So I dealt hardly with her. She fled from her face.
To the point where the woman fled. Right? Whatever Sarah did to her, she ran away from Sarah. Right? It sounds like she might have put the paws on her. I'm not sure. I don't want any rumors, but that smoke came and she didn't want no part of it. Right? Read.
And the angel of Yah found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way to Shur.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Hagar, Sarai's maid,
Uh-huh.
whence camest thou? And whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
And the angel of Yah said unto her, return to thy mistress and submit thyself under her hands.
Right. So he said, return to thy mistress and listen, take whatever stripes got to come your way. Right. You had to run. She ran hiding in Shur. She ran all the way over to Shur, hiding over there. The angel said, listen, go back home. You know what I mean? You know you was doing wickedly. Submit yourself under her hand, meaning that what? You know, you were doing wrong. Right? Because why? As soon as she conceived, what did she do? She started treating Sarah like, like she was a servant. And she was the head woman in charge, in the case may be. Like she tried to flip the script on her. Right? And that wasn't supposed to be. As a servant woman, servant maid, handmaid, you are, you take an oath to be a servant to that woman, to take care of that woman's needs and things that's needed for her. And a lot of times the servant women, they love their head woman, right? But now she become a mistress, because mistress means that, basically means that they share the same husband, right? So they're mistress Hagar is a mistress to Sarai, right? Sharing the same husband, right? Read on.
And the angel of Yah said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude.
Mm-hmm.
And the angel of Yah said unto her, behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and thou shalt call his name Ishmael, because Yah hath heard thy affliction. And he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren.
All right, so now that was the prophecy for Ishmael, that he would be a what? A wild man, right? So who's Ishmael today? The Arabs. You got to be wild to throw a rock at a tank, right? You a wild man, because I don't know what you thought that rock was going to do, right? And to do it over and over again, you got to be, something's wrong with you, right? So he's a wild man. You know what I mean? We see it. Of course, a lot of it is propaganda that Esau puts out there. You know what I mean? They're not out there just killing their own people for no reason, right? Because Esau tried to make you think Ishmael just killed their own people for fun. That's not what's going on over there. But they don't take. Oh yeah, there you go. I wonder everybody looking at. Right. So he just chilling in his cot, with his AK-47. You know what I mean? That takes, just a little something, right? Just a little something in case situation gets out of hand, right? Most of us, we lucky to have a 22. He got an AK. He's a wild man, right? With an extended clip too, right? He's looking to take out a whole village with that thing right there, right? So the scriptures say he's a wild man. He's just not. Don't think the same way as ISIS and these guys. They do beheadings. You know what I mean? We might have stoned people, but these guys cut your head off.
And they, not to mention, they strap dynamite
to themselves
on the body.
Trying to get 40 virgins, 60 or how many virgins?
40
virgins, right?
Yeah.
Trying to get 40 virgins in the kingdom, in their kingdom. They strap a bomb to their back. Allah Akbar. Everybody, boom. All right. All right. That's it. Boom. All right. So that's a wild man. It's a wild people. Not just the men, the women too. Right? The women too. They'll strap up. They act like they're pregnant. They're carrying the bomb. And everything is going to be dead up here in about 10 seconds. All right. And they sit there and count the seconds too, knowing that they're going to blow themselves up and everybody else in the room. That takes a certain level of wildness in your spirit, right? So we know that they're wild according to scripture, right? Yes, they're defending themselves, but who defends themselves like this, all right? Usually when you defend yourself, you want to leave the problem alive, all right? Right?
And he shall, and she called the name of Yah and spake unto her, Thou Yah see me, for she said, Have I also here looked after him that saved me? Wherefore the well was called Bilahah Bilahah.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered.
Yep.
And Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare Ishmael.
Right.
And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram.
Right. And a lot of them know their name, their lineage is Ishmael. You talk to Arabs, they know they're children of Ishmael. It's not something that's foreign to their understanding. That's why they always talk about Abraham being their father. That's why a lot of them, when you hear their name, what two names we hear mostly amongst them? Muhammad, not too many, but you hear Muhammad, what do you hear? Ishmael, and you hear Abraham, right? They name themselves after their names. You know what I mean? You know, I remember once I went to I went to one neighborhood that was all Ishmael, and I had I used to be a service guy, so I'm coming to service a cable or whatever, and I asked for Muhammad, and the guy he looked at me like I was crazy. He said, Muhammad? He said, you know how much Muhammad is in this building? Which Muhammad? Right? So I'm looking at the work order and it says Muhammad. I said, well, he said, let me see that work order. He says, oh, you want Muhammad? He's on the second floor, Muhammad. I thought they wrote the name twice, but his name was actually Muhammad. I said, man, they don't deviate from these words, right? And the guy I was talking to was Muhammad Ishmael. I'm Muhammad Ishmael. Muhammad is upstairs, all right? So they know their lineage. When you come amongst them, they speak of it. You know, they name their children after their lineage, right? Right? Of course. They be the first ones to tell us that we Israel when we bring it out in the street. But they know their history. They know who we are.
Well, listen, when we go to the Western Wall in Israel, right? You got that whole Western Wall. You got it divided. You have the so-called Jews there. You got Ishmael, and you got the Christians, whatever. But when we go into that whole tunnel, you got Ishmael. They'll tell you like welcome home. Okay, they know we're the real Hebrews.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're the only people that lack that knowledge to know who we really are. But Ishmael over there, they know that we're the real Hebrews. Okay, the first time we went in there, we going through security, right? They're letting all the other nations go through with their garb. Like you had Ham was there, you had Moab going through with their garb on, and when we get there, we had our garb on. So it's a problem. We had security, police came out, all kind of like, well, what's the problem? So now we had staffs. I had my staff, brother had their staffs, and we had the chauffeur as well. So for some reason, we're going back and forth. We had they sent for the highest ranking person was there. They came out. They wouldn't let us go in there with our garments, right? Another thing, they wouldn't let us go in with the chauffeur. You would think that they would consider the staff as some type of weapon. They let us go with the staff, but they said we can't bring the chauffeur in there. So this like we was going through, memorial blowing the trumpets. The chauffeur is blown for different reasons. They probably thought maybe we would go in there and blow the chauffeur for war or something. I don't know, start a riot in there, something like that. But I'm like, what can a chauffeur do? Will you hit somebody over the head with a ram's horn? You understand? So, they're probably it would the power behind it, and then it would cause a lot of inquiry. Like, well, what are you guys doing the chauffeur? Then we get because they're being exposed that they're not the real Jews. So a lot of times when they see us each year popping up, more and more of us popping up there, the people are starting to see. You understand? Because the Most High in his last day, he's revealing this thing, is making it known to the four corners of the earth. Okay, but we see the prejudice all times. Right, the more they try to keep us from getting that land, that's why the Most High is going to have to eradicate them from out of the land. Right, everything that Esau does against us, what does the Most High do? He reverses it. Okay, so they trying to keep us from the land. So what? The Most High is going to take them out of that land. Right. Not only did you kick us out of there, you would have, and it's like they didn't even want to let us not even visit. How do you steal somebody's land and then they can't even visit the land? That's just total gangster, right? We come in there, they barely. I think one time Bunyamin, a brother from elder from House of David, he got into it with them at customs. You know, they gave him a 1 week visa. He had a visa just enough time for his return flight. Other people go there, get like a 6 month visa, 1 year visa. They gave him like a 1 week visa, just enough time to fly back on his flight. So we see the constant, and people always say, well, everybody equal, and we see the double treatment. But they allow Kush, they like the Ethiopians, because the Ethiopians, they consider the servants, just like we servants here. They have Kush as servants over there. Like you see Kush working in the restaurants or the hotels
everywhere.
They'll have them doing their labor work. So they'll allow Kush to come over there and get citizenship. But we as so-called Negroes coming here over there, no, it's an issue. You can't come here. It's every time we come there. I mean, they think of new dumb questions. Like as many times as I've been there, I'm thinking like, what other questions can they ask me? They find new dumb questions to ask me. Okay, the last thing they asked me, well, who bought your airline ticket? So I'm like, what do you mean who bought my? So I mean, we're looking at the minister, looking at my raven, like, what do you mean? Like, he really asked you who bought your ticket? Like maybe somebody bought us a ticket to go in there and blow up the airport. I don't know what these people are talking about. But it doesn't make no sense. But I'm sure they'll think of another dumb question to ask their customers again. But it's this constant racism, okay, but the Most High is going to just blow them out of the land. So we got to, the time is near, we're going to go back. So we back in Genesis
17 verse 1.
17 and 1. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Most High appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am Almighty Yah, walk before me and be thou perfect.
Right, work before me and be thou perfect. So we're naming the perfect men. Abraham too is in that list that was told to walk perfect before the Most High and did so. Read on.
And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and the Most High talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Neither shall thy name be called Abram, but thy name shall be called Abraham.
Right.
For a father of many nations have I made thee.
Come on.
And I will make thee exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee, and generations for an everlasting covenant, to be a power unto thee, and to thy seed after thee. And I will give unto thee, and to thy seed after thee, the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their power.
Right. So he let him know all that land of Canaan that he was dwelling in at this point in time is all going to be his, to his seed, to his children. Right. He says, so no longer will your name be Abram, but Abraham shall be your name. So what? In the blessing, your name is changed. That's why a lot of us, when you come to this truth, what do? We end up taking on what? A name that represents who we are. Right. And our relationship with the Most High. Right, so we might come here, Tony or Jeff or Fred or Philip, right? Hakeem or Tyreek, right? But then we end up being what? Kazakh, Lab, Ayam, you know what I mean? We end up getting Abadan, we get Eliab, we end up getting names that represent the knowledge and the wisdom and the relationship that we have with the Most High. Everybody understand that? Right, it's a part of your elevation. And you see when the Most High elevated any man in Scripture, he changed their name. Even his sister, right? We're talking about Sarai. Sarai's name was then changed to what? Sarah, right? He elevated her in the spirit. When she got elevated in the spirit, her name elevated along with it to represent who she is. All right? Hallelujah. Read on.
And I will give unto thee, and to thy seed after thee, the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their power. And the Most High said unto Abraham, Thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee in their generations.
Come on.
This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee.
Mm-hmm.
Every man child among you shall be circumcised,
Right.
and you shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant circumcised among you, every man child in your generations. He that is born in the house with money of any stranger which is not of thy seed,
Mm-hmm.
for an everlasting covenant.
Read.
And the uncircumcised, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people.
Right.
He hath broken my covenant.
Right. So if you decide not to be circumcised, then you'll be cut off. So we understand that on the 8th day, when a child is born, he is to be circumcised. This is the work and the deeds of that child's parent. Right? That's their righteousness. But let's say now you come into this truth, you're 16, you're 15, you're 12, you're 10, and you're not circumcised, then what? Can you get circumcised?
The priest pull out the stone.
Right? You still can be circumcised. At any age, you can be circumcised. Ideally, you're supposed to be circumcised on the 8th day. But if you were not circumcised on the 8th day, then you still should circumcise. Everybody understand that? All right. Now, we're not going to check. It's up to you if you circumcise or not. If you're not, we'll take your word. Listen, we'll take your word for it, brother. You say you circumcised? All right, brother. All right. But if you're not, it's something that can be done. It is a bit expensive, all right? But it's worth it in the long run, all right?
Well, I know a brother from New York. He said he actually. It depends on he said it was a medical reason why he needed. Said he was having some problem down there, and his insurance paid for it. So sometimes they'll give you a hard time, but if you're persistent or you're able to word it correctly, you can get it covered on the insurance. You just tell them that you're having some issues down there, and then they'll see fit to let you cover on the insurance.
Right.
But if you just want to go up there and say, I want to get circumcised, that's not a medical reason for them to do it, to cover it under your insurance.
Right.
So you got to be careful. When you go, make sure you word it properly.
Right. If you can do that, even better. Word it. Get them to cover it. There's many illnesses you could claim that circumcision could be the remedy. All right. So hey, go for it. Whatever you can get out of the system, get it. If it's possible to happen, Most High bless it, make it happen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right.
15. The Most High said to Abraham, as for Sarah, thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarah, but Sarah shall her name be.
Right. So she get elevated in the spirit as well. Now she is Sarah in the sight of the Most High. Read on.
And I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed and said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old?
Right. So at this time, Abraham was 100. He was 99 when he was first when we started chapter 16. He was 100 years old. He said, "Could I have a child when I'm 100?"
And shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear?
Mm-hmm.
And Abraham said unto the Most High, O that Ishmael might live before thee. And the Most High said, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son, indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation.
Right, and is not Ishmael a great nation, a massive amount of people? When you hear about the Arabs, it covers multiple countries. They have multiple riches. They have riches from all different directions, right? They're really the only nation on the earth that right now gives Esau a run for his money, right? Even though Esau, the earth was given into the hand of Esau, but Ishmael give Esau a fight, a battle, right? Because why? The Most High blessed Ishmael, but they're not the chosen. Everybody understand that? They're blessed. They have you can clearly see, the richest countries on this earth, like Dubai and and I said, what's the other one? Morocco, something like that. Saudi Arabia, Morocco, these places where I mean they're evidently extremely rich. Look at that. The Bugatti with the gold on there, right? So, what I mean? And later I got a leopard chilling in the front seat. You know what I mean? So, or cheetah, whatever. Cheetah. Who said cheetah? You said cheetah? Thank you for correcting me. I said the wrong cat. I said a leopard. I don't know, but you're on point, right? So a cheetah's in the car, right? And so you see the way they ain't starving over there. Esau show you Ishmael, all you see is sand and storm. It ain't like that over there. If you go over there, you see that they have, they have everything, all the luxuries of this earth, right? The mountain of olives, they over there, right? Uh huh. Yeah, they ain't gonna drive, but somebody is driving them. Right, exactly. Somebody picks up their groceries and puts it in the car. Right, right.
There was an Ishmaelite that used to get milk delivered for him from another country so his wife could bathe in it.
Yeah, so she can bathe in the milk. That's what's up. You know what I mean? I ain't mad at him. Anyway, gotta bathe in some milk sometime. I don't know why. Maybe there's something about that, right? But if they evidently have extenuation riches. When they talk about the richest people in the world, oftentimes they're in the top five. You know what I mean? They're in the top fives. They don't wear no work boots. They go sandals all day, every day. You know what I mean? That's a sign that somebody's chilling, right? They don't have to put no work boots on, right? So
they got pedicures and everything.
yeah, pedicures, everything, chilling. Right? That's how they get down.
But that whole Esau is the Arabs. Even the riches that Esau have, everything he stole.
Stole, right?
Right. So Ishmael was blessed from the Most High to have his riches. Esau takes everything.
Right.
Right. So there's no way that he can. And he's a wild man. So all these attributes fit the so-called Arabs.
Yeah.
It's not the white man. They say the white man is the Arabs.
That's foolishness, man. Esau, I wouldn't break down Esau is Ishmael. That's nonsense. Is the Arab man. That's not knowing the scriptures or history, right? Historically, he's the only nation. He still dwells in the lands that was given to him from biblical time. He's still in the same land. That's why he knows who he is. He has the artifacts and he didn't move. He wasn't displaced. He still is in the lands in which it was given to his forefathers. So they have that history. They're not wondering who they are. You can't tell them that they're Esau. They will laugh at you. Right? They know that they're children of Ishmael. Right? But they believe that their righteousness is going to allow them to what? Be along with the chosen. They think they can supersede the children of Israel. But that's not true. The children of Israel is coming back. Right? Why do you think they don't accept the white man in Palestine and in Israel? Right? All those revolts, it started with a man by the name of Abu Nasser, who said in his speeches, they're not the Israelites. The white man that's coming to claim this land is not the children of Israel. Hitler knew it. So that what we show you is that there's a block in knowledge when it comes to that Atlantic Ocean, right? Gives a big opportunity to the white man to what? For propaganda, for them to feed us a certain type of knowledge. But when you go in the eastern hemisphere, the eastern part of the world, there's too many nations there. You can't block the information, right? Because everybody's recording their information in different languages. So you would have to block it in every language. Here in America, they just got to block it in English, and we don't know what's going on, right? But those of us that are educated outside of what England, because England runs the educational system of the Caribbean, right? And you have the educational system of the so-called Spanish-speaking countries come from Spain. So Esau is in control of trying to stop certain information from getting across, but it still gets across in these other nations more than here in America. Okay. Right. Yeah. They banned it. You couldn't even have it. Right? How they gonna ban a book? Right? And that's how they operate. They try to close down the minds. Who would ban the Apocrypha in Jamaica? But the Parliament, huh? They don't want you to have that information. Yeah.
Well, they call the Maccabees Bible in Jamaica. Like,
Right.
I remember when we first started going there, and we said we had the Maccabees Bible. They looked like we were. They looked at like we were gods. Like, what do you guys? You got the Maccabees Bible? They're gonna kill you. So we was bringing stuff out the Apocrypha, and they was like, "Oh, these guys are deep," because you couldn't walk around with the Apocrypha over there. But we were bringing stuff out the Apocrypha because prior to us coming there, like they look at the rosters and the dreads, they looked at them. They were like the righteous over there. So when we first got there, after we went to war with them and we broke those cats down, then it was smooth sailing after that. But we had to go to war with them rosters out there first. It was crazy. Hmm. Hmm. Right. I mean, years ago when I was in the city, and there was a guy from Greece, and we had the Apocrypha, and he came by, he saw us reading it, so the brother was holding up so you could see the cover. So he said, how'd you get that book? He said, what do you mean? Because he said it's a Greek word that means hidden book, right? So they know this information.
Mhm.
You understand? So they know what it is, but they're saying, how did you niggers get the?
That's what they really want to
That's what
say.
they really want to say.
That's what they really want to
How do
say.
you niggers get access to that?
How do you nigga get that book?
That's what they want to say. And for them to see that we're awakened, right? Because they figured that we would always be asleep, right? But they're scared. That's right. Because and another couple, a young couple, they came and they said, we admit that what our ancestors did to your ancestors was wrong, but out of fear, what did they say to me? They said we wouldn't mind things staying the same way it is, because they know that they feel like if we get back in rulership, we're gonna do to them what they did to us. You understand? So the Most High is right. He says a righteous thing to recompense tribulation and not trouble you, right? So how do you just feel like you're just gonna run into the kingdom of heaven, everything's gonna be all and all good, and you're gonna forget about everything that happened in the past? No, somebody's gotta pay. Just like we was at Halloween night, Esau don't feel like they said, well, that's the past, but they're still reaping all the benefits of their forefathers, right? And we saw evidently that we was out there. I just can't get this out of my mind. There was an Esau. He claimed he was Israel, right? Kept saying he was an Israelite, but then the cop came to pull him from the camp, and then he said, "Get off me!" So I'm looking at him, I'm like, "What?" Listen, if that wasn't Jake, if that was a so-called black man, he would have been on the ground. He would have been maced. They would have called for a SWAT team, and he would have been over with. The guy just stood there at the camp. I mean, he kind of calmed down a little bit, but I couldn't believe. He just said, "Get." He told the cop, and the cop was kind of like, he was kind of muscular. So I'm not sure why. I don't know why he didn't pursue it. But then he's like, "Get off me!" I'm like, so the cop is gonna let him get away with that like that? Like he punked him. So I'm like, all right, so we let it go. But after that, the guy kind of calmed down. But I'm showing you that he claimed that he was Israel, but he used his white privilege card to
White privileges.
white privileges to get arrested. Or he felt like, you're not gonna move me. You understand? I'm the white man. I'm staying right here. Because if that was Jake, it would have been a different story. We would have heard about that guy the next day on Channel 1 News. Okay, we would have heard about that. This the whole 17th chapter for
Yeah.
But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year.
Come on.
And he left off talking with him, and the Most High went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were bought with his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin, in the self same day.
Right. Whether they were old, young, didn't matter. Everybody got a circumcision that day. The whole house, all the surface. Today you getting circumcised. Right? They ain't had no laser
No,
surgery.
no anesthesia.
No man. All they had was a bottle of scotch. Take this, take this strong drink. Take it like a man. All right. Now I'm sure that we had ways we knew how to use um, the herbs of the earth to numb the area and things of that sort. We had that knowledge. We wasn't barbaric and had people crying out in the middle of the night off of a circumcision. Okay, we had ways of handling it. We knew how to deal with the herbs of the earth to numb and to shut down the nerves in a certain area of the body, so that you wouldn't feel so much pain, right? But it wasn't like today where you wasn't gonna get knocked out and wake up and be circumcised. Nope, you had to probably see this go down, right? And that's enough drama, But they knew they was doing it for the Most High, right? Let's read on.
And Abraham was 90 years old and 9 when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin.
Right. So he was 999 years old when he got circumcised. So if he can do it at 999, nobody should be huh?
99.
I said 999, right? Sorry, 99 years old when he got circumcised.
Like, that's older than Methuselah.
Older than Methuselah, right? Right. It was a slip, right? So, but if he can get circumcised at 99, no one can say I'm too old to get circumcised. That's all I'm saying. All right, you're never too old to get circumcised. So, if it can get done, get it done. All right, let's read.
And Ishmael, his son, was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin.
That's right. And Ishmael to this day, they also hold the custom of circumcision. Right? Ishmael circumcised as well. Right? Even though they're into Islam and all that, Muhammad, they still circumcise. Right? The only devil on this earth that be pushing not to circumcise is Esau.
You got,
right? Here in Florida, you got to get extra money and pay and all this stuff to get your son circumcised. Okay? Where it shouldn't have to be that way. It should be automatically done when the child is born. But you could say we're under wicked rulership. Okay? Let's read. If I'm correct, coming up in New York, you have to request not to have the boy circumcised. Automatically, they would circumcise you in New York. Yeah. That's it. They take him and circumcise him automatically. Makita? Okay. Who does that? On Islam? No, we're supposed to circumcise on the 8th day. Well, now in Florida, you got to pay either way. Either the first day or the 8th day. It doesn't cost any more extra on the 8th day than the first day, right? You just have to have that set up before the child is born. So once you talk to your gynecologist or whoever's going to be birthing the baby, you let them know that you want it on the 8th day. They will set it up to do it on the 8th day. Sometimes you might have whoever's birthing the baby, they may not do circumcisions. So then you have to find someone else to do the circumcision. All right. Sometimes it actually run you a little bit cheaper because the hospital charges $300. Right. You might be able to get a little bit cheaper someplace else, but then again, there's certain things you don't want to bargain shop. You know what I mean? I'd rather pay a little extra for this procedure than a little bit cheaper because they might be cutting corners, right? And they're cutting
literally.
literally. So you want somebody that's whatever they charge, let them charge, let them do a good job, and let's be on with this thing, right? Right, that's your son's his gold member, right? Say it louder. Uh-huh. Right. So that's what I'm saying. You don't go for the deal. You don't go for the bargain shop when it comes to the circumcision. All right. You pay a little extra. It's okay. It's just money. All right. You'll make it back. He won't certain things he won't grow back. All right. So make sure that that's done by a professional. Someone does that's really good and have a good track record. Um,
This is from Babylon Timbuktu from Rudolph Windsor. This is page 48. It's the birth of Islam and Judaism. The Prophet Muhammad adopted many principles and laws from the Jewish religion. First of all, the basic idea of monotheism, which is the belief in one God.
Right.
The Jewish confession of unity of Yah is Shema Israel, Yahweh Power, Yahweh is one. Okay. Muhammad adopted also the main details of the Jewish calendar, the Day of Atonement, the Sabbath, much of the Bible, and the narratives from the Midrash, and many points of the ritual law. Incidentally, the Jews prayed 3 times a day facing the city of Jerusalem, and the Muslims pray 5 times a day facing the city of Mecca. So they show you how they adapted everything from the Hebrews.
Israel culture, right? From Israelite culture. Mm-hmm. But they come to Ishmael, they knew in the beginning there was one God. And in time, as they became a nation, as Ishmael became a nation, they strayed away from that. Then they started to believe in polytheism, a God for this, the plants, the animals. They're one of those religions where they believe a God for everything. And then they were brought back to the original understanding. Because remember, as we're reading in Torah, all the nations knew that there was one God, right?
He says Muhammad tried to construct his religion as closely as he could after the Jewish religion. He favored the Jews by accepting many of their laws and traditions. When the Jews refused to be converted, he commanded his followers to stop turning to the holy city of Jerusalem in prayer, but rather to turn to the city of Mecca. He changed it to his. Yeah, saying how they do Ramadan like we do, because they get the Ramadan, they do it for a whole 30 days. But the Most High gave us the Day of Atonement for the one day. Well, a lot of stuff.
40 days, right? 40
30,
days of
40? Okay.
Ramadan is 40 days, right?
I thought it was 30 days. Okay.
I don't know. I think it's 40. 30.
No, but it's one of Ramadan. Ramadan is that they
when they fast during the daylight.
Yeah.
They only eat in the evening time.
Well, somebody Google it. I know that they
Somebody Google how many days of Ramadan. 29 and 30? Okay, it's 30 days.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
And they fast during the daytime, right, sis?
What?
They fast during the daytime when it's light. Right.
That's like what they call an intermediate fast.
Intermediate fasting. It's not a full fast, intermediate fast, which is quite healthy, But anyway, let's read on.
And the self-same day was Abraham circumcised and Ishmael his son, and all the men of his house, born in the house, and bought with money of stranger, were circumcised with him.
Even the strangers that was in his house were circumcised with him. Everybody had to be circumcised. All right. Let's read on. Okay, hallelujah. That ends the portion for this Shabbat. Can the Most High, hallelujah. All right, so there's a lot of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding contained in this portion. We learned of Abraham, his relationship with the Most High, how Melchizedek came into play, how Shah visited the earth as Melchizedek. We also learned that, that the covenant of was made with Abraham of circumcision, in which It covered the whole house, and every male must be circumcised. All right, whether they've been on the eighth day or not, they had to be circumcised. Okay. Any other announcements? Anything we want to cover before we send the prayer? Anything? Nothing. Where's Marsha? Where's Marsha? Huh?
We don't got enough time to oh, I mean, Hanukkah, we're not going to do any garment. If we want to bring up
Like a theme color, Hanukkah?
Second place color for
Well, Hanukkah is always a militant um, holiday that will celebrate a military victory. So I would go with a fatigue type of not no, I don't know.
well, I don't know. I mean, I just spoke with a seamstress, so I'm gonna get the prototype of the garment that Munatazar did. So once I get that done, and brothers want to get it done as well for the Hanukkah, I'll get more material. I mean, I have enough material to do a couple of brothers. I mean, this would just be the camp one, and then anybody else, you can just go with the same theme. You know, what it has, brown and rust and stuff like that. Once I get the prototype, and then we can get everybody to go match with it, whatever.
Know what they call fall colors for the Hanukkah. Like beiges and browns and or something like that. Earth colors, earth tones.
You could do like a brown and gold.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. We think we do like a fall type of color scheme for the Hanukkah. Yeah, I think I don't know what the sisters feel about that. You know, uh, like a fall color scheme for Hanukkah. A fall color scheme for Hanukkah. I can't wait for those. Whatever. Whatever. Man. We don't have winter in Florida. Snow. So all we have is fall color scheme. All we have is leaves turning color. That's it. We don't got no snow. Like browns and beiges and yeah. Orange. Yeah. Somebody got an orange. Somebody got an orange dress they always wanted to wear. I've got the day now.
Just didn't know I was gonna wear it too.
I've got somewhere to wear it to now. But I mean, Hanukkah is coming up on us quick, so we got to make a decision if we're going to do something.
I mean, I should have the garment done by next week.
Okay.
I'll bring it in.
All right. Any other questions? Inquiries?
No, the Hanukkah, we're just gonna do a color scheme, but we already have that material set up for the camp, so we were just gonna, that'll be a sacrifice for them if they want to get it done for the Hanukkah, and it would be a beautiful thing because Hanukkah, that's when the officers so forth, there's gonna be, brothers ranks gonna be increased, so you would be, adorned in warlike apparel. That'd be a beautiful thing if you get it done. So definitely want to try to get that prototype by next week. So
yeah, there'll be an award ceremony during the Hanukkah's service, as well as the re-ranking of the officers will be held that day as well. Anything else? Anybody got any questions or anything? December 25th. Oh, November's new moon is 27th. Mine is in December. November 27th is new moon. What day of the week is that? Who knows?
Moshe. Listen, where do we leave off the preparation for the summit? Did we do? Yeah, let's try to at least do the summit day.
It's a Wednesday. So the next new moon is on a Wednesday, November 27th at even on a Wednesday. So mark it in your calendars, put it in your phones, lock it in so you don't forget. Huh? I heard the 27th. Lock it in so you don't forget. Huh? I heard the 27th. Uh-oh. That's why when I call for the announcements, call for the announcements. Come.
Moshe, you know you got all the announcements. What
I
you
don't know
doing
why
back
you
there?
doing back there.
They're about to shoot me over here. I said the 27th.
All right, so correction. The next new moon is on Tuesday, November 26th at even. At even means at sundown. We probably will start by 8 o'clock, but be here by 7:30,
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Okay. All right. Hanukkah's in December. It's December the 20th. December 28th. On December 25th is the new moon. So that's a full week of celebrate we have that week in the sight of the Most High.
So did anybody come up with on the last summit day for the food for the summit? Yeah, we're gonna order sandwiches for the Sabbath. We're gonna order sandwiches for the Sabbath for the break.
Oh, remember the Sabbath was like we do a little meal, right? To go trade.
Yeah, we had it all set up. That's that.
We didn't do the actual
the meal at the
meal at
end.
the end, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean, I'm sorry, that's the Sabbath.
Yeah.
Yeah, meal for summer.
So, Sister Javier, so I know you were saying you were trying to have like a set.
All right. You know what?
That's a no.
Yeah, come. Come.
What do you say?
Yeah, come. Come.
What do you say? Yeah. Some ideas. Okay, don't everybody give ideas at once.
How about this? Everybody that wants to, we're gonna set the prayer and the praise, and then we like those that will stay back and allow and help put your input on what we're going to set up for the summit. So hopefully all of you stay back, but we'll see what happens. But we're gonna send up the prayer and the praise, and everybody would like to contribute and help us set up the menu for the Shabbat. Stick around. I mean, for the summit, stick around so we can discuss it in fully, and we can have our actual. We can leave here with a menu already solidified and done. All right, sis.
Is this menu going on the Eventbrite somewhere? Because if not, I mean, it's the sisters that's cooking. We can talk about that by ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. I got your point.
Spending so much time on the
Yeah.
website.
Oh, that's great. So we want that menu by next week Shabbat. Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Who's the power? Who's the power? By Hashem. By Hashem. Cross. Cross. Holy is the name of Manoah. Yahweh. Holy is the name of Mashiach. Yahushua. Kwam Manoah Yahweh. Kwam Manoah Yahweh. Kwam Mashiach Yahushua. Kwam Mashiach Yahushua. Kwam Yeshua. Kwam Yeshua. Rekatah Yahweh. Bahashem. Mashiach. Yahushua. Ahawa'ah. Yahweh. HaShabbat. Bashalom. Baruch Shemai. Zapparayim. Barak. Rapapah. Wakazak. Ramadan. Rashma'ayim. Akim. Akwathim. Baruch Yahweh. Ba'ashem. HaMashiach. Yahushua. Yahak. Shaitan. Yahak. Kol. Rai. V'chaim. Yahak. Rai. V'chaim. Baruch All praises be to the power of Isaac and Jacob for his mercy truly endure forever. We thank you, for giving us the Shabbat day in peace. We ask you, to bless, heal, protect, and make strong and watch over the children of Israel, the brothers and sisters of Yahshua. We also ask you, that you rid from us all evil spirits, that you kill from amongst thy people all the works of Shaitan, that you put a hedge around us that Satan gets no victory amongst thy children in these last days. Baruch Yahweh, we pray that you remember the covenant that was made with Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, that we are to be thy people, and thou art to be our power, and continue to making us and renewing us a right spirit. Forgive us for all our transgressions, all our sins, blot them out, and that we may be presented to the Most High in the white raiment, as written in our holy scriptures, preparing for the coming of our deliverance and the resurrection of our kingdom upon this earth. All this we ask in the name of the Mashiach Yahushua. Let all that have breath praise Yahweh. Let all that have breath praise Yahweh. Bahashem Mashiach Yahushua. To let them yad. Amen. Give the Most High hand. Hallelujah. In the mouth of babes, Yahweh perfected praise. In the mouth of babes, Yahweh perfected praise. In the mouth of babes, Yahweh perfected praise. Hallelujah. Oh yeah, let's go. In the mouth of babes, in the mouth of babes, in the mouth of babes. Hallelujah. Oh yeah, glory. Hallelujah. Yeah. What's that to be a ruler? Our enemies shall fall right before our feet. While the country. Go to the top, let's go. Glory, glory, hallelujah, hallelujah, yeah. We're trying to be a ruler. Our enemies shall fall right before our feet. While the saints come marching. Hold on. While the saints come on. While the saints come marching. While the saints come marching. Real. Homicide, hallelujah. Gives me the victory. Many people that I can't live with. That is why I was trying this one more time. Hallelujah. Oh, yes. Many people doubt him, but I can't live without him. That is why I love him so. There's no power. There's no power. Breaking of the universe. Always doing. Let all Israel sing it. Sing amen. 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 Hallelujah. 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 Amen. 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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah. One more time. There's no power. Great King of God. Always doing. Let all his blessing sing amen. 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 Hallelujah. 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 Amen. 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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let's count us for one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Brothers, wake up. 5, 6. Hit it. Israel. Israel. Late at when I'm sleeping and my spirit start to creeping in my voice. 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 All praises be to the Father, Abraham, and Jacob, for his roots and truly endure forever. It's a blessing and honor to praise his name. On his holy day, on his Shabbat days, and his new moons. And most receive our prayer and our supplication, as well as our praise, for his comely in the arms of his saints. So let's praise the hour. Hallelujah. Let's go. When I get to heaven, people gonna say, how'd you earn your living? How'd you earn your pay? And I replied with a little bit of anger. Earn my living as the Israelite razor. I carry my Bible by my side. Gonna carry my Bible both of the day I die. Israel. Israel. Hallelujah. 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 Praise his name. Praise his name. Praise his name. Praise his name. Let's go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, standing tall, looking good, preaching to the neighborhood. Standing tall, looking good, preaching to the neighborhood. Saying, whoa, 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 whoa. Saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Standing tall, looking good, preaching to the neighborhood. Standing tall, looking good, preaching to the neighborhood. Saying, whoa, 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 whoa. Saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise his name. Praise his name. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise his name. Praise his name. All praises.
Hello, 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 hello. Okay. Hey. Turn it up, turn it up. Keep it. Okay, I'm just walking in this truth. You already know my movement. I'm like a Hebrew should. Understand that I'm in the shook and I'm really moving, nothing really to it. I'm grooving. You know I'm a Hebrew, standing tall and standing straight. You know what? I'm taking my place. I got the crown on my head, man. I ain't never fled. You already know, man. Came from the waking dead. Understand that I'm moving, I'm grooving and nothing to it. You already know that it's summer brothers clueless. I'ma really keep it and grooving and I'm just doing nothing to it. I do it and I just.
I'll just say your fly is over. Pull it up.
I don't know if I can sing that. Hey. Check it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I try to find the kingdom now. I take a stand as a lonely man. I just need to find my way now. I take a stand for the most. I ain't really too afraid to fight. Hold it down to the day I die. You know what? I'm really gonna live my life. I'ma do it to the best of me. Ain't nobody can't really stop me. I've been chosen since the fetus. Who gon' really defeat us? Nobody. Hey. Take a stand, be a man, take your ground back now. I ain't really playing now, then I really go and get it. I ain't playing around, I just talk it, I walk it, I do it. You already know that I'm really fluent. I take a stand where my fringes are hanging low to the floor, man. I'm gonna use the floor out of control. Do it for show, man. I'm a ride on the road. I'm taking control, and you already know it, baby. I'm low and I'm back. I talk it, I walk it, you know.